Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi here with some more Division 2 Legendary gameplay. Results predictable, but we play on. This is a low-level watch group, and you're going to see some characteristic things that kind of happen in low watch level groups. We've wiped once already. I had an all-red build that I promised people I was going to play, but I can't do it because we won't get anywhere because we don't have enough DPS and we can't suppress the drones or the Johnny Fives. Some of the gameplay I'm going to speed up and some I'm going to go at normal so we can talk about specific things. One of the good things that's happening right now, we're not pushing too far forward. I'm running back and forth, moving forward to pulse. The bad thing about being a pug without talking, I can't tell people I'm just going up there and going back. Some of the enemies come trying to get me because I'm putting so much DPS out on them. That's always a bad sign. We're moving relatively quick. Trying to get this group is the key group in this. The Chungas are hard in one sense, but really that group of chargers and drone people is hard. How do I know I'm putting a lot of damage out? Because I'm getting all the aggro. There's no aggro meter, but if everyone's focusing on you, that's probably because you're putting out the most damage. Now, here's a great thing. The team tries to pick me up, so it's a pretty good team. So this is not a fault of bad play. This is just people aren't high enough yet. And so in this part, I vacillate between going to a high DPS versus a build where I can suppress drones and stuff. But in this case, I chose this Vile Jammer. But I'm going to push it back. I'm going to switch it back. I'm sorry. So you'll notice I'm not trying to res anyone. I can't really afford to res anyone at this point because we do not have enough DPS. They're going to keep pushing until we get DPS. Once I get the DPS stabilized. So this is a nuanced kind of take if you're in a group. Usually your healer reses people. Your lowest DPS person, and you know who you are, should go res people unless you're a crowd control person. But whoever you got to figure out what you're doing. You can see the people's builds and you got to take care of them. I'm going to eventually, I think, try to get this guy up, but again, we've stabilized the situation where I can get him up. There's almost little value to getting him up, but more of a sanity thing for that person than just sitting there and you're next to him and not resing him. So that first section will always tell you what kind of group you're going to be in. This is going to be a tough group. I'm going to switch to my DPS skill build. I'm loath to go out in front, but I got to get the turret out there and then I'll eventually go back. This is the skill build where I have to put status effects, which you see in the lower left of my icons. That's perfect shock and awe, 27 seconds of 20% skill DPS. And then I switch to, you can see the far right two icons. That's test subject, 20% damage on my weapon and skills. So at a certain point, I'll have 40% extra damage. The drone is minimal effective. You're going to have Chungas in here that's going to go down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a hive, and what the hive is going to do, it's going to allow me to stay in cover more because it's going to provide the status effects to proc perfect shock and awe, and then I can just use test subject. If I was going to exclusively use the hive, then I could probably switch to capacitor. This part I've just played at normal speed. You can already see that the one guy's too far forward. He has a lot of armor. And I think he has a revive hive, but that's just too far forward. You can see that in a heroic, all these builds would be fine, but Mr. Cepineda, he doesn't have a lot of regen, so that's not a great build. I don't have a ton of regen, but I have some. I'm trying to get my turret because the Chungas are coming. I'm not trying to go forward, guys, but this is the problem of putting things forward. Then your team decides that they're going to move forward. Sometimes if you put a skill on the ground when Chungas are coming, they'll kick it to destroy it. So you want to put your turrets normally up. I put my turret on the ground earlier because I was trying to get the healing pots. We move back. I'm going to get out of there. Agent down. You're always going to have this come to Jesus point right here in every match that you got low DPS. We've wiped once. Probably the fastest thing would be to just run out and kamikaze and die. To just go out there and sacrifice myself. I'm kind of getting ahead of it though, but we're still hanging in there for right now. Decent DPS, but there's one. That guy gets in, there's two. And even me, on this max DPS build, I don't have Unbreakable, I have Momentum. And then I have the holster that increases your DPS, your skill power. Oscillates back and forth. And I get smoked right there. And I'm going to go through a dump truck load of healing kits. And that's like, if I'm doing healing kits, that means, and predictably, I go down. So I realize now I have to even be more careful. But the group leader gets me up. And you see I need to get that hive out there. And then that will increase my turret. Sometimes people want to put turrets up top. When you're in a situation like this where they're going to focus fire on your skill, putting it down below kind of in cover kind of helps it. So the mechanics of the Chungas are they're going to oh gosh, everyone's down. Watch out, Ronan. Sometimes they'll go to the far right, so you can put it next to that little wall so it's protected from the left, but it will kill things, anyone that comes past and to the right. And you can see that I didn't throw my hive out far enough. So I'm not getting that extra 20% damage. There it goes. Okay, so I'm not going to try to res them yet because the Chunga, I'm a liar. This guy comes up and I chicken out. All right, that's a good toss. So you can see I got perfect shock and awe now, so I'm doing a little more damage. 177K. Right, so I'll get close to 200K if I can get some test subject on them. That's what I was telling you, it goes to the right. So if you throw your turret out in front of those little gates, they're protected from the left, but can kill anything that comes past. Now I want to make sure I get perfect shock and awe on him, and he's done. The other thing, if I would have kept with the Vile Jammer build, I could have pulsed him, but it takes a long time, and you know you don't want to do that to people. Now, this guy makes a mistake that I kind of make. You get rezzed, you should quote unquote reset yourself. That is, go back to, but he goes right away to try to, and then he goes down again. So I don't like that. He should have jumped over that barricade and then res the guy. So these are small things. He hasn't been here. It's okay. I'm sure when he does this again, he's going to do better. He or she is going to do better. They are going to do better. So now at this point, I don't want to clear the place, but I want to get it so I can get across into the position where I can res both of those guys. And if I had another healing kit, I would do it sooner. Oh gosh, look at me using my last healing kit. That is not like me. But now I should jump over that. What am I checking the time? Oh, I'm breaking that. So here's my strategy now. Sometimes people say that you should use Chem Launcher or you should use whatever. This is why I don't like using Hive or Chem Launcher. I need a skill that's going to put pressure on the enemy, but I got to wait for all these clicks. Now, it's relatively fast, but that's why I don't use those skills normally. Unless I have like maybe BTSU gloves or something, but I got to wait till I get 18 so I can switch to a drone, which I can send down range and it will help. So that's just a quick why I'm not using Chem Launcher and all that other stuff, because some of the skills are situational. I could have put blind up. That probably would have been an even better skill. So I'm thinking about this guy. I'm trying to get, excuse me. One reason I don't use blind, because this isn't a, oh gosh. This isn't a status build. That's probably why I don't use blind. And that explosion thing. You'd have to pay me to use that. I am taking sponsors for that crappy skill. Okay, I could make the mistake that my friend made, but nope, I'm going to jump over and do it from this side. You want to leave room when you die. You want to leave room where the person, if you're down, you want to leave room so the person can go into cover and res you. There's some people that stay right in the middle and stop you from getting into a protective cover. And see, that's what I want to do with the drone. A lot of times in Legendary, you want to do DPS without having to get out of cover. Okay, so I sped it back up because this part's normal now. I just wanted to slow that down. If that happens, you know you don't have enough DPS, so you're going to have to bring your max DPS. Or if you're one of the people playing, you're going to have to be really careful. And for the most part, these guys are. So again, there's nothing wrong with these guys. They're, when they have a high enough gear score, they're going to really, or watch level, they're going to kick ass. And everyone has a first time they're doing this. Please subscribe, comment, like, share. Helps. Oh, that was like a... They've run out there prematurely. And I'm going to damage them, the enemy, through that curtain. And so that's a pretty safe place to do that from. And a lot of times this is a hard spot. But again, I want you to think about that. This group's pretty decent because we don't get smoked in this part. So we have a decent amount of DPS, just maybe first times through, not enough inherent, resiliency or defense or whatever. When you go forward, it spawns Grenadiers, Chargers, and drone guys. In this case, you can see my turret's up high because I want it to go down range more. I have skills so I can res this person without taking away the damage from the group. I also come up on this right side. It's a great place to pulse because you can reach halfway. Really, the best way to pulse is that little room over there where the enemy is, and you can reach the back of the room with a fully upgraded pulse. And then voila. So here I switch my build to a pulse build because we're going to run into the dogs. And that's the thing. That's different than heroic and everything else. You should wait for your teammates because you need them to set up. Normally I have a turret there, and normally I pulse, and then when they come into this room, they're getting aggroed by a turret so they don't aggro you. This next section is also a tough section. There's 3 waves. There's a normal person wave with all kinds of people. There's a dog wave, and then there's the final 3rd wave. Again, putting the turret up high. And I want to pulse Vile Jammer everyone. I know the dogs are coming, so I want to kind of suppress them. Now, both those people have higher armor, so they're kind of okay up there. It's not too far forward. I've played up there. It can't be that every strategy out of their mind is the wrong strategy, right? So that's the other thing I want you to realize. I'm not just saying because I don't do it. There's a lot of ways to play this. We just got to realize what you got. Like this build I have isn't as, it's not super robust. It does damage, or does the Vile Jammer, and it has some recharge, but I can't go toe-to-toe up there. And so as I get closer, I am trying to pulse them, and that gives me time to, and I'm going to eventually get out of there, heal this guy first. And look at this is a good move by this guy. He crawls to us. I see the other guy going for him, and I'm going to continue to put DPS and pulsing and those kind of things. What's your role in the group? Not what someone has decided your role is, but what role are you fulfilling in the group? And then you're going to have to start doing that, and then people are going to come to expect that. This is very easy. Everything comes from the left. Are those guys focusing on the ads, or are they focusing on the boss? Because you can see I'm getting everyone that's coming for me. And look how far the Chunga went in. The Division is one of those games where you should kill all the minions and then you should kill the boss. The boss is never so destructive that you shouldn't do this. This area is usually hard as well. The right way to play this is to go all the way immediately to that area over there, camp there. That blocks them from taking that area. Now you see our flank, we can't go out, and we're kind of stuck from fighting inside here. I have my max DPS build with Artificer Hive, to make my turret have more damage. But really, I should be pulsing here. I didn't know we were going to play in here. The other thing that I'm realizing that we need heals. I have a DPS build that has all the ancillary slots are repair, so I can do some repair. I use BTSU gloves, so I can do stuff a little bit faster. So that's a decent, and I have the healing grenade, rolling grenade healer, the smart healer. And that's not a bad build. But this is a part where you need DPS because you're going to get pushed in here. And by no means, and I mean by no means, should the Chunga come through that door. Ah, the plans of mice and men. And a certain point, you have to realize you got to stop going down. Usually, been playing Destiny 2 a lot. We played like in a small structured format, which is very PvP light. And it was pretty fun, but I died a lot. And sometimes I'm too cavalier in Destiny 2 because then I'm down. Someone either has to revive me or I got to wait 4 seconds. It's 4 seconds we don't have my DPS and. So in Destiny 2, I make these beginner mistakes that I don't do as much anymore here in Division 2. And look who's at our party now. Hi, Mr. Chunga. I got to get my turret. Now, if I was smart, and I'm not, I would cancel my turret and then cancel my hive. And because I have BTSU gloves on, it would reset the turret and I could put the turret out. But I left the turret out there and it's killing other people, so we get through here. So at this point, if these guys knew the fight, they would fight the next fight from inside this next room. They wouldn't go into the other room because they would realize they don't have enough DPS. We would funnel everyone into us and we'd hunker down. That's what we do. So I'm going to slow it back down. So either I'm doing that for no reason or I'm doing it for a reason. Maybe it's for no reason. So they've started the fight before I was ready, which is kind of a pain in the butt. But I have my red build, which has yellow secondary skills. And I'm going to, I don't, here's what happened. Because they switched, I couldn't switch out the build all the way, so it's kind of a 50-50. So this part is okay, but why are you going up there? Don't go up there. And I hear Chungas. So I think I can get this guy up. But we're not going back to where we should go. And so at this point, this is the second time this has happened, right? So instead of getting more in cover, I know what's going to happen here. So I'm just going to play it through. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you. I'll see you again in the Division. Enjoy the rest of this exciting gameplay.
Agent down.